Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing why it's important to test your products before putting them on the market. If you're interested in that, keep watching. First things first, it sounds like common sense, right? Like you're supposed to know that you need to test your products before you put it on the market, but I'm not judging anyone. Everyone here is new, and sometimes in this natural community, a lot of people like to behave like they know the rules, like they created the rules, like because they've been in there for a while. It's either their way or the highway. That's not how it works. Because this isn't a regulated, like a quote unquote regulated community, a lot of us do our research, but a lot of these rules are our own, made up rule or rule that we created along the way and that we learned and put together and made it our own. So if you have a natural skincare community and you feel like you're doing anything wrong that probably you came up with in your head, or you think you came up with it in your head, or just something that you done based off of what you like, I'm telling you right now, that's how a lot of it goes. You learn stuff and then you add your piece to it, add your unique part to it, and create your own vibe and rule. As long as you're following certain guidelines, you're good to go. It is good business to actually test your products before you put them in the market and give them to a customer. Now let me explain. If you have let's say you have a product, you have never tested this product, you don't know what this product feels like, nothing at all, and you're selling it to the customer. When your customer comes back with a complaint about the product, you don't even know why it's doing that. And then you're going to have to tell the customer, hold on, wait, give me a few days, let me contact the manufacturer to figure out why it's doing this. You're going to lose that customer because clearly that customer knows that you don't know the product, you don't know what's going on, and you also didn't test it. So you wouldn't know that, this would happen, and basically the customer is a guinea pig, which isn't fair to someone who's spending their money with you, right? Okay. If you were purchasing something for the first time, would you buy something that was never tested? Like if you were the guinea pig, like comment below and tell me, if you were the guinea pig, if you would purchase something that has never been tested before. If your answer to that is yes, then you're a daredevil. Shout out to you. Big up yourself. If it's no, then that's exactly why we would need to test our products on ourselves, families, and just, other people that we know, or just people overall, before we actually put on the market and collect someone's hard-earned money for something that you don't even know works or doesn't work, side effects, nothing at all, right? Okay, stay with me here. You want to make sure that it's safe. By testing it on yourself or family members, you're checking to make sure that it's safe, that they won't break out in hives, that they won't explode, that their skin won't just full up a rash after them use it. You also want to test it to make sure it does what the label says, because some of you guys are creating products and you didn't test it. So what you do, you just write on the label what the ingredients in the products do, and you don't even know if it actually does that when you combine the products. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. You also want to test your products before you put it on the market, because you want to know how it feels on your skin. Not just it being safe. Safety is one thing, but you don't even know the texture. Like, how are you going to tell a customer how it feels if you yourself don't know how it feels? You don't know how it feels. You don't know the texture. You don't know how, what it does to your skin. You don't know how long it lasts. You don't know anything. So how would you sell it? Okay. For example, this goes back to a little bit of safety as well. For example, you have a product, and let's say you have sensitive skin. So you created a product, but because you have sensitive skin, you don't want to try it on yourself. In fact, that is a time that you should try it on yourself, because let's say you do try it and it works perfectly for you. You can always, that's a selling point. Like, hey, this works for sensitive skin. I have really sensitive skin. Bam, I use it on me. Nothing happened. I didn't die. You can use it too. It did what it was supposed to do. I didn't have any rash, no breakouts, no redness and itchiness. It worked perfectly fine for me. Right? And then you could go ahead and say, I'm sensitive to this product, maybe a product on the market that does cause your reaction to your sensitive skin, and you tested your product and it didn't. You see what I did? That's a great selling point. So that's another reason why you want to test it. you know? Next thing, testing your products on yourself, it provides some sort of emotion to the product. You know what I mean? Like it gives it a little swag because you tested this product on yourself. You had maybe a mark, you had something wrong with your skin from before, something that you wanted to, smooth out. You tested it on yourself, you saw results. That right there is, that's a swag. That's bragging rights. That's something, you can pat yourself on the back about. That's something that you could talk about because guess what? You made that and it did this, and you can prove that it did this because you felt it. You were able to go through the experience of having to go through the process, wait, and actually see the results. You can tell a customer that. You can also tell a customer how long it might take. Of course, you'll say average estimate because everybody's skin is different, but you can say that confidently. So that's why you want to test it before. This also helps with selling these products at a pop-up shop. Imagine being at a pop-up shop, right? And somebody comes up to you. They ask you about the product. They ask you, like, let's say, like, how does it feel on your skin? Or, do you think it's going to be greasy? Anything like that. And the first thing that comes to your mind is like, I don't really know. Or you're probably going to have to start mumbling and make something up. Customers could tell that off the back, and that you right there, so you lose a customer, right? So think about it. Now, another example, they come up and they ask these same questions. They ask you these same questions, and guess what? Because you used it, went through the process, experienced it, had results. When they ask that question, you can literally kill that response. That response is going to be so bomb because you went through the experience and the process of testing the product and feeling what it feels. Your response is going to be so full of emotion, so full of confidence that they have no choice but to buy it. You won't even have to bother them. You won't have to badger them. You won't have to force them. Just from your response of telling them how good that product made you feel or made a customer of yours feel, girl, guy, whosoever, that's all you need. If that isn't enough reason to test your products, I don't know what is. But if you're someone who's going to do pop-up shops, that is very important. Like, it's imperative that you test it, and so you could have those experiences and you could talk to customers like that, so you can actually have that type of conversation with customers. Like, I've had those conversations where I'm talking about one of my products, and most of my best-selling products are products that I use consistently. Like, I use all my products, but some of them I use consistently and get results from. And I can articulate this. I can say this to the customer. I can tell the customer this. Like, I can literally reply, have the best reply, have the most confident filled conversation about that product because I used it, because I tested it, because I know what to expect. So that's some type of swag right there, okay? Testing your products also goes along with knowing the shelf life. We do know that whipped body butters have a shelf life. Some people say 3 to 6 months. Some say 6 to 9 months. But I'm going to tell you something. The shelf life of that body butter, no matter how long shea butter lasts, because some shea butter can last up to 24 months, as of what I've learned in research. If that oil that you put in that shea butter expire in 3-6 months, then guess what? That body butter expires in 3-6 months. You want to know why? Because once that oil goes bad, that is going to pass over into the shea butter or whatever else you put in it, and that's just a whole breeding ground for bacteria, and it's going to go bad, and you probably won't see it, but when you open it, you're going to smell it, because when an oil goes rancid, you will know, and that is just going to push up through the scent of the shea butter. You won't smell your fragrance anymore. You're going to smell that rancid oil. So be careful of the expiration date of oils that you use. And this is why you test it. Because if you put a certain oil in there, you could test it out, give it 3 to 6 months. Well, I know for some people that's long. Like, you want to use it now. But you can test it out and see. You can see how long it lasts. You could sit it out and see what happens. See if it starts to smell, just to test it out. But I will say this. If you get an oil that has a long shelf life, it's usually around that mark, about 6 to 9 months. That's what I've seen with mine. Some people 6 months. Hey, everybody's different, like I said. In this natural handmade skincare world, it's a lot of rules based on some research, some personal experience, and some of what you do on your own, right? I know that's kind of controversial, but yo, that's how it is. This is a very important one. Testing your products allows you to see the synergy of the chemicals not chemicals, but of the ingredients, the raw ingredients that you're using in your formulation. Let me tell you something. A lot of people see formulas online, they print it out, and they just copy this formula into their formula sheet and maybe and then they create it, right? That's number one. If you create straight from that formula, chances are you might get the same results. If you do, you still want to test it to see how it performs in your skin. But stability wise, probably the same. Now, where we mess up is that we get these formula and we start substituting. What some people don't realize is that when you start substituting, certain ingredients, when mixed together, it might throw off the synergy of that product. What do I mean by synergy? Synergy is the way how the chemicals work together. Now, what a lot of you guys don't realize, you might be able to mix 3 essential oils, and those 3 essential oils gives you the best result. Once you start substituting another essential oil into that, you may not get the same result. Chances are maybe if you use one of those essential oil on its own, you still might not get the same results. So you have to be very mindful of how you're mixing some of these oils and butters, because it doesn't always give you the result that you expect it to give you. The only way you will know is if you test it. There we go. The word of the day. Test it. Then you can see, the result that you get from it. Then you can know what actually happens. If it doesn't have a good synergy, then what happens is either you have one of the ingredients that's very antagonizing, meaning it overpowers the mixture. Now your mixture is taken over by that formula, by that ingredient, even when you add like your fragrance, it still overpowers the mixture. And then you went ahead and made a big batch of this mixture and it's not what you want. I've had that happen to me before. There's also the possibility that you might substitute a certain ingredient and what it does is amplify another in a way that you did not prepare for. As a result, your formulation might do what it's supposed to do, but too much. Like if it's a lightening and you put in a certain ingredient with it, will amplify the abilities of the lightening powder or whatever, then it's doing it too fast, or it's irritating, or it's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's giving you a reaction. So we have to understand these things when we're mixing it. Now, we're all learning, so it's nothing to be embarrassed about. You're especially if you're new, definitely new, don't be embarrassed. Just test it. But by the words of Heinz, proper preparation equals great performance. So why not prepare? Why not be ready for when you launch the product? I'm sure there's ways to get over this. So even if you didn't make these products by hand, you might want to at least use one just to see what happens, just to see if what the supplier, the manufacturer told you is correct. You want to see how it works. You're probably going to need it for pictures anyways, so why not open it and test it out before you put it on the market? So private label, white label, wholesale, whatever it is that you did, still take the time to test it. Ask for a sample. Ask that question. You owe your customers who are spending money that. So if you're new and you're buying, in bulk, definitely get an extra one or open one as the one you have. Take your pictures. I know the manufacturer told you what it does, but prove to yourself that it does that. Maybe you won't have to test it for as long as someone who hand makes it, but at least you know how to sell it. At least you know what it does for you. Quick disclaimer. This video is just for educational purposes. And remember, this is a safe space. If you're new to this, just accept that and learn. We all learn. We're all gonna figure it out. And enough money out there for all of you. Like there's a lot of money out there for all of us. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like the video, like my vibes, definitely like, comment, share it with somebody who will want to watch it. Also,